Greetings and blessed day to you once again, people of God. It's the Revelator once again. We have gathered in the house of prayer for the counseling session, and in just a few moments, the Revelator will be kick-starting the counseling session. And the Revelator happens to be the one who's behind the camera, so he's going to be joining the other couple alongside his wife that is there in just these next following moments. Now, we have been allowed by the Spirit of the Lord to be gathered in this place for one reason, and that reason is discussing marriage affiliations, not just marriage affiliations, but I'm going to be taking you to the theme of this counseling session. It's going to be a revelatory dimension of information that is going to be shared by the Revelator. The Revelator is going to be given an opportunity to just share a short presentation. And I believe that if you're in a relationship or if you are married, you are going to be part of this counseling teaching session where the Revelator wants to talk about the sex in the realms. The sex in the realms. So the Revelator, as I'm going to just present something from the Word of God. After having presented this, which I'm going to present from the Word of God, I'm then going to be asking questions at the couple that is on my left-hand side. And my wife also will be chipping in if she has got questions. We don't call them opinions. There are no opinions in the realms. What is presented, there are questions. So I'm believing that the couple that is here alongside my wife that is on the right hand side, they will have questions after this short teaching, not opinions. Opinions, they are found in the House of Parliament. But in the realms, you can only ask questions for you to get the revelation of the information that is hidden by the Holy Spirit. Now, like I promised, want to discuss about sex in the realms. Oh yes, you heard me, sex in the realms. What they don't want me to talk about, that is what I want to talk about. Sex in the realms. That is what I want to talk about. Do you know why I want to talk about it? It's because they don't want me to talk about it. That's why I want to talk about it. So let us get into the Word of God. In Matthew chapter 5, verse 28, and it reads, "But I say unto you, that whosoever looks on a woman to lust after her has committed adultery with her already in his heart." Whoever looks at a woman to lust after her has already committed adultery with her. Can you imagine? All this time, when you are looking at women that you don't even know, women that were merely passing by, what you made yourself believe, what you convinced yourself was that I only looked at this woman, I don't know, you don't even know her name, you're just passing by. There was no communication, there was no connection of any body contact. But when you take the matter into the Word of God, the Word of God is now saying by merely looking at a woman, meaning that the scriptures are describing a way of looking at the woman. And which way of looking at the woman? A deep level of looking at that woman. And when you look at that woman, in the realms, Jesus comes in the New Testament and declares that you have already committed adultery with her inside your own heart. So let's take for instance, it is I that has looked at a woman and I have lusted after that woman. And after having lusted for this woman, I'm already married. I have already committed adultery with that woman. But how do I commit adultery with that woman when that woman is not aware that I'm even looking at her? And how is that woman who has been looked at involved? That is where the mystery of this presentation, this counseling session will kick off there. That's where the Revelator needs to unbundle the ministry of the realms. So all that I'm saying is that the mystery of sex in the realms begins in the spiritual realms. By merely looking at a woman, you have committed adultery with her, meaning that there is an interaction that happens in the realms of the spirit, not your physical self, not your physical conduct, but your mind that is just thought, even for a second, can connect with the entities in the realms of the spirit. Even sometimes, even if it be not your mind, if there be a spirit of lust in you, or if there be a spirit in you that is craving for something that you are not getting at your level, you could be craving for sex, but you are having problems in your marriage because the delivery of sex in your marital, private, intimate sexual life is not being delivered or is not being presented to you the way that you want. So you remain with the inner cravings that don't end within you. And those inner cravings that don't end within you, that undying hunger that remains in you, it connects in the realms of the spirit with the other entities which are called sex demons. And let's take for instance that the person that you are looking at also is a victim of lust. It will be like a Bluetooth device of sexual demons that has been paid, and you connect in the realms and you have sex, both of you unknowingly, leaving no trace of any physical evidence, but sex would have happened in the physical. Let's say someone argues and says, I've never lusted for that person. Where the hell are you getting this Revelator? Because I've never lusted for that person. Oh yes, I agree with you. You have never lusted for that other person. But because both of you are victims of lust, even though you are keeping it inside your heart, but you have never lusted for each other. The Bluetooth of sexual demons, they still pay and connect in the realms. Even if you go to sleep and you don't see it happening in the dream, it does not mean that in the realms it has not happened. It would have happened. Just like Jesus saying, by merely looking unto a woman to lust after her, you have already committed adultery. Jesus is not even waiting for you to go and sleep so that you can confirm a sexual dream. Jesus is not waiting for that. Jesus has already declared that you have come. In actual fact, when Jesus came, he came to capture a scripture in which Moses was saying those that wanted to divorce, they needed a letter of divorcement. Those that had been caught in the very act of adultery, they would get stoned. Meaning that there were many law offenders that went away unpunished. Why? Because the people were lusting inside their hearts, and they would go away unpunished. Why? Because the law of Moses was so carnal. How was it carnal? It would only convict someone who has been caught in the very act. Just like someone you tell that your wife is cheating, and then he starts fighting you. Why is he fighting you? He's saying, I want to catch him in the very act, meaning that your wife is going to be having sex with that man for the rest of the entire year. Why? Because you are so carnal. You are waiting to catch him in the very act. But I believe you that is watching, you are not carnal at that level. This is why you are watching. And this is why the one that is not watching because he's carnal. By looking at a woman to lust after her, you have already committed with her, not alone, with her. Let's go to the next level, whereby a woman looks at you and says, my brother, you've been looking at me. What are you looking at? It's because she has realized that you have been looking at her. That is now another level. That is now practically evident. Where you look at a woman to the level that the woman is now responding back. You never talk to this woman, but you're now responding back. Now that you're responding back, you as the woman, it means you have your attention has been captured by the way that this guy has been looking at you. It means you have been drawn by the eyes of this guy. His eyes, they don't just look. They were looking at you as if they were going to strip you naked. Indeed, there are eyes that can strip naked. There are eyes indeed that can strip naked a woman. There are also eyes of a woman that can lust after a man. And in most cases, women, they don't want to agree on that, but I know that men can agree. Why? Because it's a usual thing that men are the one that go after a lady. But it's rare to find a woman that actually admits that I went after a guy. The last female that I had to convince that you proposed, I had to use your revelation. I had to use the revelation. Otherwise, without being the revelator, she was never going to agree. And that is how the entity entered. It entered because she was a female disciple. She didn't inform me. Something that she believed. She said, I thought this was a petty matter. It was just a light matter. There was no need for me to tell the revelator about this. Just found a good-looking guy. And I just said hi. And I found myself proposing to this guy. And I didn't think that this was a big deal. Why? Because I didn't fornicate. But what was happening inside your mind when you are approaching this guy? There are things that Christians are trying to ignore. Yes, you can ignore them, or at least you are in another ministry that is carnal. And in a ministry that is carnal, you will be safe. And there will be no rebellion from sex demons. Why? Because the demons, they are doing whatever they want. But in this ministry is so deep. I'm still taking you bit by bit so that you understand that when two people have fallen for each other, but they have never told each other, and they are not aware that both of them, they like each other, and they never wanted to be known that both of them, they have feelings for each other. Do you know what happens? They can have sex in the realms unknowingly. But before they have sex in the realms unknowingly, what made them fall for each other is another mystery. If they are both unmarried, it's obvious that they are naturally having affections for each other. But let's say both of them are married, or one of them is married. Automatically it is corruption by virtue that one of them is married. So if they lust for each other without communicating, without even showing it, and it remains deep undercover as the revelator in the realms, what is going to happen is that they are going to start having sex in thoughts. They are going to have sex in their imaginations in the realms of the spirit. They are going to, not only is it going to end there, there will be entities inside these two people that have already. Do you know that spirits can meet before people meet? Spirits can meet before people reach a point of having sex. All the people that are now married today, you are watching us, we are two couples here. Before we got married, we were driven spiritually to meet by whatsoever and whosoever. That is another topic for another day. But I can tell you, it can be the Holy Spirit, it can be the demonic spirit that has caused the people to finally meet in the physical. But before they met in the physical, the question Revelator is, what drove them to meet? And I gave an example. I'll give an example about, let's say, if it be an unmarried man who has fallen for a married woman, an unmarried man who has feelings for a married woman, or a married woman who has feelings for an unmarried man, or a married man who has feelings for an unmarried woman. It can go either way. And they just have emotional affections unknowingly and knowingly deep inside their hearts. What is going to happen there is that even before they approach each other in the physical, by thoughts only, they are going to start having intimacy. They are going to start having intimacy. I can even tell you that there are people that are masturbating secretly right now, who are married, and while they are masturbating, they are thinking of someone who's not even in that room, who's not even inside that house, who's not even in the city. What do you think causes a person that you last met 2 years ago, probably someone, let's say it was someone who was your client, or someone that was your employee, or someone that was your workmate, and that person is now appearing in your dreams, and that person is coming to have sex with you in your dreams, or is that person is pushing an agenda of wanting to sleep with you, and then when I ask you and you say, I never thought of that person, that is the usual response that I get in this ministry. I never thought of it. Yes, you never thought of that person, but how did that person come to you? Even if that person came to you, even if it was not that person that came to you, even if it was a spirit that came to you, how did that happen? It means it's a spirit, a sex demonic spirit that was able to come. Sometimes you can have a stranger that you know that someone came in my dreams, but I don't know that person. But all I know that is that person was trying to have sex with me. That's what you remember. That this person, I don't even know that I met a man in my dream. I don't even know this man. This man was trying to pull my hand. I came across this young girl in a dream. What was this young girl trying to do? He was trying to reach out to my private, and I stopped. It can even go further to the level that in that same dream you failed to resist, and you ended up having sex. In the realms of sex, you can end up having sex with anyone, not because you agreed, not because you wanted. In the realms of sex, you can end up having sex with someone, not because you want to have sex with that particular person, no, but because it has been initiated by spirits of sex. In the realms of sex, you can meet not because of spirits, but because you have been two people that have been falling deep for each other. You fall deep for each other for a long time, up until there is a manifestation, either in the physical. Let's not talk about the physical for now. I want to talk about the sex in the realms before I come into the physical. In the physical, I will be now crossing over to the counseling dimension. In the realms, you can have sex with anyone that you want to have. I'm not teaching you to have sex with anyone that you want, but I'm telling you what demons do. Let's say the Revelator is lasting for Angela or for Kim. That is the Revelator lasting for Angela and Kim. Do you know that if the Revelator keeps lasting deeper and deeper for Angela and Kim, do you know what is going to happen? The Revelator might have a dream having a threesome with Angela and Kim. And then when the Revelator wakes up and starts shouting the name of Jesus, what are you doing, Revelator? You are the one who initiated this, can't you see? Let me give another example. And let's say Nicole, these are examples that I'm using. Let's say Nicole is losing sexual feelings in her marriage for her husband, but these two are married. It could be the reason that deep in the past, before they got married, there is a sexual soul tie that happened, and that sexual soul tie summons a prince to come and have intimacy with Nicole. That is category number one. It could be that Nicole got delivered already, but while she was in marriage, she's not getting satisfied in marriage sexually. And then what then happens? There are other princes in other bodies. And Nicole has got desires of being satisfied. What I'm simply trying to say is, it means that Nicole desires to reach climax, maybe thrice during sex, and Nicole is not reaching that level. Let's say maybe Nicole desires a deep romantic sexual intimacy, but Nicole is not getting that. What is going to happen is that a prince which has got those secrets which the Revelator already has is going to locate Nicole in the realms. But when it locates Nicole, it does not locate Nicole directly, because Nicole is not aware that what is happening in her marriage, the sex hunger or the cravings or the loneliness or the depression, the sexual anxiety, is now summoning a prince to come and sleep with her. Let's say it's Clemens. It's an example that I'm giving, for, by the way. Let's say it's Clemens who wants things done his way during sex. He wants to be the boss of the house. He also wants to be the boss in the bedroom. I didn't say Clemens is like that. I said it's an example. And when Clemens does that, he does not realize that he's disconnecting instead of reconnecting during sexual intimacy. What is going to happen there is that there's going to be a disconnection between Clemens and Nicole. And when there's a disconnection, they start sending spiritual princesses which are agents in the realms. And the next moment is that when Clemens goes to sleep, he will dream of ladies just coming in his dreams. Ladies that he knows that he has never proposed. They will start coming. Do you know what is happening? Let me give you category number one. It may be possible that some of these ladies that are coming, they were interested in Clemens. So what is happening is that they are connecting through the Bluetooth of the sexual hunger that is inside in Clemens. And if sex then happens in the spirit. Even if Clemens does not see it as sex in the realms, to me it is called sex in the realms. The fact that a woman was around you, doing intimate, naughty stuff around you. Yes, Revelator, he never thought of that girl. I'm not interested. I mean, yes, you're saying it in the physical, not in the spirit. Your sex hunger is interested, not you. Your sex starvation is hungry. Your sex starvation has got a high appetite. It is your hormones that have connected you to that entity that actually came in that dream wearing a face. So I'm trying to give you dimensions of how sex can happen in the spirit. Sex can happen in many various ways in the realms of the spirit. And when sex is happening in many various ways in the realms of the spirit, sex is being allowed to happen by many reasons, either from your heart, from your mind. If you are married, you are sex-starved, you are unhappily married, you are stressed in that marriage, you have depression, maybe you are trying to reach out to your husband, but your husband does not understand your position. Maybe you are trying to reach out to your wife, but your wife does not want to communicate, and you remain stuck. All those are channels that can be used by sex demons, which fall under princes and princesses. Now, like I promised, I don't want to lengthen my presentation. I'm going to be interviewing the disciples over what I have just presented in these last 20 minutes. I believe so. In these last 20 minutes, I've been giving you dimensions, connections, initiations of how sex can be initiated in the realm. I was not teaching you to have sex in the realms. Okay, before I get into the dimension of the counseling session, I just feel like I left another. But there's another dimension whereby someone can actually go back home and they start masturbating over someone until they climax, masturbating, rubbing the clit until whilst you're visualizing the person that you are imagining, you're actually visualizing that person until you climax and you actually feel satisfied. And next time when you meet that person again, when you look at that person, you feel the sex edges again, and you have to go and satisfy yourself again. It may happen again. Get this last point. But what I don't like is that after teaching something deep like this, there are people that are so redundant. What do they do? There's people that are used by the devil. What do? They take this information to use it against their partners. That I restrict. That I restrict. That I restrict. I've said this 3 times. I've released this deep information to expose demons. And demons, they know. The Revelator knows. What demons do is that they start using the information against couples. Whilst we've finished this presentation, this session, you that is watching, you are married. You go back home angry today. You'll be very angry. Probably you will not even eat supper. You'll be thinking, this is exactly what my wife is doing. This is exactly what my husband is doing. Stop it. The moment you start doing that, just know it's a demon that is about to use you. So you realize that a person can end up masturbating over someone who's in a life. You can realize that someone now uses imaginations of someone that he has feelings for to enjoy sex with their husband or to enjoy sex with his wife. That is corruption. You don't do that. You don't use emotions or feelings that you have for someone for you to enjoy sex with someone else. You don't imagine another woman. You don't imagine another man for you to enjoy sex with your husband. Some are even regretting of why did I get married to this man? Why did I get married to this woman? But now they are just saying that marriage. Why? Because they are now kids. That's what they are doing. Just regretting. There's no way of getting out of this marriage. The marriage has become a prison. So they just have to pretend in every sexual encounter. And for them to talk about this, maybe probably the wife is scared. That once I raise this issue and I tell my husband the real truth, he will stroke. If I tell my husband the real truth that is happening, if I tell him how pathetic he is in bed, he will stroke. He will get angry. He will start fighting me. So in most cases, wives, they end up pretending to climax. They pretend to climax. They pretend to reach climax. They end up pretending that they are enjoying when they are not enjoying. That's what wives do, and it is wrong. Because marriage is a lifetime thing, which does not need the wife or the husband to pretend. Personally, I is the Revelator. I don't need to speak on my behalf, but my wife knows that I'm talkative in the bedroom. I don't want pretensions. I want realistic stuff, and there is nothing that comes out of my mouth which I put a comma or full stop or fearing that my wife will get frustrated. No. I speak reality. And my wife is seated beside me. If you thought that I'm afraid of my wife, that is my wife seated beside me, and I'm not afraid. My wife knows that if the sex is not performing up to the level of standard that I want, it will be a disappointment that I express. If my wife is not telling me, then in this presentation is also for her to tell me. If she's not opening up to me, it's also a presentation, because I'm exposing those things that end up causing sex to happen in the realms. Now, as I promised, I want to get into the counseling session. And I've prayed before this counseling session, and I hope those that were listening to the presentation, which has lasted over 20 minutes, They are now going to open their ears as I'm going to be interviewing both my wife and the couple that is beside me. And I've promised myself that this couple is not going to lie to me. They're not going to lie to the Holy Spirit. I all know they are not going to do that. Because if they do, they'll be destroying themselves. We are not doing this counseling session for any showcase or for the sake of exposing anyone. Rather, to be having a counseling session here with the Revelator is actually grace. It's actually grace. It's actually grace that other couples that are struggling out there, they need that opportunity. But I've made sure that this counseling session is going to also save other couples. And even this information that has been preached is benefiting others out there who are not even part of the ministry, who are not yet married, and those that are married. Now, tell me, Nicole, we are now in the counseling session. Are you enjoying sex in marriage? Right. Thank you for your honest answer. Doesn't mean that if you're not enjoying sex in marriage, it means your marriage is now over. I myself, as the Revelator, I've got moments where I can actually say, last night I did not enjoy sex. There are so many reasons. What is crooked is not letting out those reasons. But being a straight person, you need to let out the reasons. And when Nicole is saying, I'm not enjoying sex in marriage, she's not saying she has never enjoyed sex in marriage. She has got moments, right, that she has enjoyed sex in marriage. So let's first tackle the moments where you say, you have never enjoyed sex. Oh yes, I'm talking to you, Nicole. You can look at me. Yes, let's talk about the moments where you have never enjoyed sex. How did you fail to enjoy sex in those moments? And don't be afraid of your husband. And your husband is not even allowed to make you feel answering the Holy Spirit when he's asking questions. Tell me about those moments that you don't enjoy sex. What will be the reason?
I think it's because of the performance expectancy that will be coming from my side.
You are saying the performance expectancy?
Yes. The performance expectancy one, the endurance.
The endurance, it means the frequencies or the lasting.
Yes.
The lasting. How a man should last.
Yeah.
How long a man should last,
yeah,
right?
Like the durability.
The durability.
Yes.
Right. My question to you, I've heard that part. What would you have done as a woman which either determines your husband to become a slow learner or a great performer? Let's touch both sides. What do you think you do not have done? What do you think is not being done for us to have a result that Nicole did not enjoy sex last night? What would not have been done?
I think lack of romance, one. Two, also maybe at times like the timing whereby he wants sex and
you're not in the mood.
And I'm not in the mood. So at the end of the day, you'll be now just like
Is there ever a moment where both of you need sex at the same time?
Not really, because I don't know. Maybe it's a weakness that is in me. Failure maybe to say it out, to say now I
But do you have moments where you know that today I want sex?
Yes.
But what do you do on that particular day when you need sex? What is a woman supposed to do?
What is a woman supposed to do?
From your own understanding, not the understanding of the Revelator. What is a woman supposed to do when she needs sex from her husband? Does she have to beg?
No.
No, thank you very much. We have removed the begging. What is a woman supposed to do
maybe in terms of acting, like maybe just foul plays and whatnot, or maybe
What can I ask you a question? This does not concern marriage. What is the role of strippers in nightclubs?
to entice and seduce.
Do they just go and sit on a chair?
No.
And they will be wearing long dresses, right?
No.
Why do they make sure that they are wearing, what do you call that? Lingerie?
Lingerie.
Lingerie.
Yes.
Mm.
To entice and
To entice men.
Yes.
Why is it that it's not men that do that?
It's because men don't have the...
Because it's a woman that is supposed to seduce, right?
Yes.
Right. Let me ask Clemens. How many times do you want sex per week? You simply answer the questions that I'm asking you.
As often as possible.
What do you mean as often as possible?
I love sex.
Mm-hmm. How many times do you want sex with your wife per week? You haven't answered me.
If she's in the mood.
How many times do you want sex with your wife?
Even every day.
Yes, thank you very much. You see, it took you very long to answer my question. Revelator, how many times do you want sex paid? I want sex 6 out of 7. I always leave that one day for fasting, praying. I'm not saying, I do intercessions every day, I pray every day, I do sermon presentations every day. But in everything that I do, I always leave one day for the Lord, in which I say this is the day that I've given to the Lord. And the day that I've given to the Lord is, personally myself, I gave that day on a Sunday. It is also the same day where we'll be gathered in the ascension room. How many times do you want sex, Russia, without copying what your husband said? How many times do you want sex per week?
Maybe 4 out of 7.
4 out of 7. What is your reason of 4 out of 7? You heard your husband giving his reasons of 4 out of 7, or 6 out of 7. What is your reason?
I don't think
You'll be tired. You'll be exhausted.
Yes.
Right, it's okay. Now, what is a woman supposed to do on your body, Clemens, for you to be turned on by a woman? You know that a woman, when Adam woke up from the sleep, he said, "The bone of my bone, the flesh of my flesh." Do you know what that means? It means, do you know why the man was put to sleep? Because God wanted also it on another dimension to be a surprise. And when the man woke up, it was not the woman that exclaimed. It was the man that said, "The bone of my bone, the flesh of my flesh." He was struck by the looks of the woman, meaning that Adam was attracted by the woman. That is the normal thing. This is why up to today, the man is the one that goes after a woman. What is it beyond just looking? What is it that you think a woman should do? Obviously, when you talk about a woman, you're not talking about another woman that is not you. You're talking about your wife. What is it that a woman is supposed to do? Clemens?
To seduce me.
To seduce you, yes, your wife. For you to always have the hunger, the craving, the zeal to have sex, even on a day that you didn't want to have sex, but you end up having sex. What is it that your wife is supposed to do?
For me, considering that I'm not a complex person when it comes to that, even the way you play the dress code.
You mean the dress code in the bedroom?
Yeah.
What else?
Even the way you talk.
Yes. When you're talking about the way you talk, you're talking about before you go to bed.
Yeah.
What were you doing in the lounge?
Yeah.
What were you watching together? Did you eat your favorite food?
Also,
how were you communicating? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, something like that. And also, whereby, like if you're in the dining and whether you're watching or you're not watching, I believe there's a moment, like in terms of seduction, there's a moment whereby, like my wife, she likes sleeping early.
You mean you should you should cooperate, you and your wife.
Yeah, whereby she can just go to the bedroom or even just
Fall asleep.
There's a way she just falls asleep like on the couch.
And it turns you off.
It turns me off, one, and when I want to respond like I'm now waking her up, and she's like, me, I want to sleep. That's the maybe some part of the timing. And,
So,
there's a point whereby a wife can go to the bedroom and she just prepares herself. And then she can just call the husband even when the kids are sitting in there.
and you will not be ready.
No, when she calls me, the woman is supposed to call me. She's seducing me. Like,
Or here you are constructing what you think can seduce a man.
Yes.
Right.
So the wife just goes to the bedroom. No, that's sad. The wife knows that my husband loves sex. And plus also communicating to say, being a woman was just free to say, today I want sex. It was like me if I want sex, honestly speaking.
You openly show
I'm
it.
a bad performer, I'm not,
but you openly show it.
I'm very expressive.
You are expressive.
Yes.
You open up and you show it.
Yes.
Yes.
It's unfortunate that.
But are you able to actually open your mouth and say I want sex?
Yes.
You say it?
Yes.
So many times.
So many times, but it's unfortunate that since I love sex that much, like on a frequent basis, because my wife doesn't speak out, and I wouldn't know, and I don't even know, is she in the mood?
Is she in the mood today, or she's not in the mood?
Yeah, but actions now, they also now.
But in terms of her actions, are there times that you can tell that today she's interested?
I feel like I don't know my wife.
I'll ask that question again. In terms of actions, are there moments that you can tell that yes, she doesn't communicate, but today she's interested?
Yeah, it's rare.
It's rare. Meaning that all that you're trying to tell me is most cases you are the one that is pushing for sex to happen.
Yes.
And how does that make you feel when you're the only one who has to push for sex to happen in your house, in your bedroom?
Discouraging, frustrating.
It's like you're having sex alone.
Even it gives you low self-esteem. That even if you're not doing the sex, even the performance, because already you'll be having thoughts in your mind to say, is she interested? She's
Right, it's
not.
okay. Nico, right, I read that part. Before we go to the sexual performance, most women, they are affected by the sexual performance. But before we go there, I'm going to ask you this question. I asked it, but I'm going to ask it again. Are there moments where you say in your heart, today I want sex? In your heart?
Yes.
And then when you say that in your heart, why is it difficult for that expression to come out?
I don't know. Or maybe it's because of I think it all comes back also. I think it's because of one, maybe lack of communication, and also
Why is it lack of communication when I'm asking Clemens? Clemens is making himself clear that he would have said I want sex. Let's say there are things that are done by a man to prove that this man is now ready for sex. I know that you don't use it's just an example. It's just an example. You are now married. I know that you don't use condoms. And you see Clemens taking condoms. What is he saying when he's taking condoms? It's an example. I know you don't use condoms, but I'm saying when Clemens takes condoms, what is his language?
saying he wants sex.
Right. Okay, let's leave that out. Without the man communicating, how do you know that your husband wants sex?
Like you were saying, he says it, but also I think the fact that already, for me personally, I would like from the proceedings, from the dining, even the setup,
They will not be appetizing you.
they won't be appetizing. In the sense of it, like you were saying, maybe you are sitting, you are coming from work, and there are daily routines that you've been doing, like us right now, you'll be coming from work, I've got a kid, I have to attend to the little one, and then maybe after, also just put into consideration, after maybe nyangwe takagara, maybe takangogara takadai, put something that would, even watching on the TV,
everything from what you are watching,
from
what you are
everything,
eating,
what you are
the
eating,
dialogues,
the
they create the foundation.
Yes.
Before we talk about what is going to happen in the bedroom.
Yes. So you find kuti already we're sitting in the dining and there's already some negativity and whatnot and whatnot. And then when you come to the bedroom, obvious for me personally,
You've already been,
I would have already
been exhausted or
yes, demoralized. So also,
and what efforts do you then do? I understand about that. It happens to every married couple, even myself. It's not every day that is going to be a honeymoon in your house. But when you have realized that this is what has happened in the lounge, what efforts as a woman do you put in the bedroom, even when it was a bad day? You put no effort. You'd have judged already that it's not going to work.
I would have judged that already it's not going to work.
Meaning that by the time you go to the bedroom, if the foundation was not constructed properly for you, meaning that when you finally go to the bedroom, what you are now doing is that you are letting him have his own way.
Yeah, you're letting him to have his
so
own
that he
way.
doesn't sleep frustrated.
Yeah, so that he doesn't sleep frustrated and angry. And
So let's say using the number of days inside the week. How many times do you enjoy sex out of 7 days? Given the circumstances on the ground.
I think thrice.
Thrice.
Yes.
3 out of 7.
Yeah.
Which is not bad. How many times do you enjoy sex out of 7 days? There's something that I've started when I'm asking you your wife questions. When I'm asking your wife questions, she's very. You always tell me that your wife is not open.
For me,
but
it's almost maybe less than thrice, because like body language says a lot when you're having sex. So
no, I'm not forcing you to tell us lies.
Like a man,
you're allowed to speak what is in your heart. You're not allowed to tell us lies. So I'm not going to force you to say something that is similar to your wife. You're saying for you it could be less than thrice. Why?
Because I can tell when my wife is not enjoying sex.
You can tell when she's enjoying.
And I can tell when she's enjoying.
You can tell that today she just did it for me.
Yes. And that's the larger part. And it frustrates me that
Right. Let's now go to sexual performance.
Because another thing, like, I believe when you come from work and you retire someday, and I believe, especially a woman, when you're coming from work, she has to go to bath. And so it removes that fatigue and tiredness and exhaustion, because it leaves you refreshed. To the point that even maybe if you sit on the couch, you won't easily sleep.
Here when you're saying that the wife should go to the bathroom, you are saying so that she freshens up for what?
Even if it's not about sex, and whereby even to sit down and to watch a movie or even listen to a sermon, and she goes to bath for the husband, and whatever, if she's going to bath,
do you have a problem?
Also be romantic.
I'll ask you a question.
You can say, baby, come, let's go bath. Expect that from my wife or from a woman. But a situation whereby you are the one who's going to say, baby, let's go bath, and she shows no interest. I'm always the one who is touching the wife, to the point that somehow I feel like she no longer maybe doesn't feel anything when I'm touching her, because I'm the one who's so fond of her, or touches her a lot, everything. And right now, if she touches me, and it actually feels weird to me when she's touching me, to the point that I feel unsettled when she's touching me, as if I'm being touched by someone who is rude.
Why? Because you are saying
Because I'm not used to her hands on my body. She's more used to my hands than I am used to her hands. So
what about you that is saying you are more used to yourself touching your wife's body? Have you ever asked your wife how many times she has reached the climax to prove that you are good at romancing?
like when I'm saying even touching it,
I
I'm
mean,
not just talking about romance.
Yes.
I'm talking of even the beginning of the romance.
Yes, I have approved.
Because I can be sitting with you right now. I can start just like playing with the touching.
Yes.
No, it doesn't have to do with sex.
Yes, it has nothing to do with sex. But I want us to go to the chain because now I'm on the stage of performance.
So you realize that that connection, whereby if I'm sitting with her, I just like touching her, kissing her, blah blah blah, and when it's now her touching me, so the fact that proportion and it's not equal, right?
Does she enjoy the way that you touch her? Have you ever asked her?
I haven't.
Have you ever asked her how she wants to be touched?
No, I haven't.
Right, then I'll ask you this question. I'll ask you another question.
Because of lack of communication.
After sex, do you communicate? Besides the question, did you enjoy it? Have you ever asked her that? Did you reach climax?
A few times, not many times.
So let's say out of 7 days, how many days do you think you reach climax? We're using 7 days again, Nico. Twice.
For the climax part, yes. To be twice.
It will be twice.
Yes.
It will be twice out of how many days of having sex?
Maybe 5.
Then you reach climax twice. Whenever she says she reaches climax twice, are you able to notice that today my wife reached climax, today she didn't, even though we had sex?
Yeah.
How do you know?
I
never promised that the counseling is going to be easy. How do you know? Yes. How do you know?
What was beginning, it wasn't easy. But now, for the sake of other, because it's not just.
Not for the sake of yourself.
Not just me.
Yes.
Even the other ones. Who
for the sake of everyone, even my wife,
yes,
even myself. Yeah, I'm learning.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
At first, when it was beginning, I wasn't come, but now, the my experience, because a lot of people they're suffering from this.
Yes. We never say it here. I'm saying this to those that are watching. Never did the Revelator say there is anyone that enjoys sex from Monday to Monday. Never did I tell those lies, because sometimes people will be going through a lot. There are many things that happen in life which can come to disturb a sexual encounter on a Tuesday and on a Wednesday. But on a Thursday, Friday, people can enjoy sex on a Friday. But when it reaches a point whereby the wife is constantly not reaching climax and the husband is not aware, it becomes a device of sex demons.
Because like, you can tell that maybe she's this climax because of the conversation that you have even after, or even soon after, or even the expression or the sounds that are produced soon after. You can tell that she has. So you understand some point. So I said a few times whereby I can ask if you did, but there's no since the last year because of not of lack of that connection and communication.
Right. So this whole matter goes back to lack of communication. Now, in the area to do with the lack of communication, what do you think couples should do, just in brief, when there is lack of communication? She's clueless. She's saying she doesn't know what couples must do when there is lack of communication. Do you go out with your wife?
I think the problem is you'll find, Kuti, there will be communication when it comes to other things. You'll be seeing that, we're talking, we're relating, we're flowing together.
But when it comes to
But
sex,
then when now it comes to sex,
There's no communication.
it's like there's a breach, there's a hole that's.
because like for example, and we can spend the like I'm always with my wife, just like you have everything, be it work.
But when it comes to sex,
But when it
Not-
comes to
not
sex,
just
it's
to
more
sex.
like we're now.
Not just to sex.
The moment maybe when you step by the door.
Not just to sex. If we're not in the house, trust me, we connect so well. Like, and I wish that connection would even stretch, to. But when we get home, and
Right,
it's
I've
more
agreed.
like we are now.
I think it's affected like what you were asking, Rev. Do you guys like even go out with your wife, or even I don't know how to.
do you prepare, like, I don't want to say white people.
Yes.
I don't want to give them a badge, because we are all humans despite different races. Like, some people, they create moments like, today we are going to be going out. Like, you see people putting candles on the table, they are preparing good food. Already before people go to the bedroom, it is known that today is a special encounter. You don't even need to be told. So I mean, there is an environment. There is an environment that has been created where there are no kids that are busy giving people a headache. I'm not saying kids give a headache, but personally, me, when kids are around, I feel like there is another load that then comes to give many people stress.
Even if the
Yes.
kids had gone to sleep.
I think also it comes to also the fact that there will be now too much comparison. More like you want to compare yourself to the other part, to the other person, or maybe to something. Shauninge once was someone saying, or how Shauninge wakaona.
Right. On that part, I would want to ask you a question. Do you think your current sexual life in marriage, some of the challenges that you're going through, they have anything to do with activities that happened before you got married?
Yes.
I'll give an example that if someone once dated a good kisser, then that person gets married to someone who needs to get trained how to kiss, it can affect marriage, right?
Yes.
I'll give another example. These are examples that I'm giving. If someone once dated someone that is good in bed, I defined it as a beast not of the kingdom of darkness in bed. Someone that is monstrous in bed, someone who breaks the bed, and then you break up with that person. We are not talking about fornication, we're just using examples. We know that fornication is sex before marriage, but we are not talking about fornication. But this is something that could have happened before marriage, is an example. And then that person then gets married to someone who's prepared to settle down, someone who doesn't want to fornicate. But it so happens that the one that was not prepared to fornicate wanted to marry you properly and stay with you for the rest of your life is not as good as that one you once had sex with. How much do you think it can affect that marriage? How much do you think it can affect that marriage, Clement? So, do you think it is fair for us to say, let's say the Revelator, let's use the Revelator as an example so that it will be comfortable. Do you think it would be fair that if the Revelator once dated a girl, a lady, who was a sexual expert? Are you getting my point? That was the past life, way before the dimension of the Revelator. As an example, let's say the Revelator dated a girl who was creative, who could do anything in bed. And then the Revelator gets married, is now married to a so-called decent wife, right? Now the Revelator is married. And the Revelator, everything that he has to do in the bedroom with his wife, he has to put instructions. Because if he doesn't put instructions, it's not going to happen. Do you think it is good for the Revelator to try to push his wife? As an example, don't forget, to try to reach the standards of that former girl from 10 years or 15 years ago, so that his wife can match up those standards. Do you think it's a good thing? It will be unfair. So I'm asking you, Nicole, let's say, it's an example, way back before you got married, you once dated someone whom you could connect with sexually in a deep way, and then you broke up because he was not a husband material, and then you got married. Now you have got the husband material, but there's something that is still stuck in the mind, that I once enjoyed sex in such a way. How do you think you can help your husband to reach the standards that you want? We are not creating a comparison. How do you do that, Nicole?
Maybe by sharing, maybe telling him like how you want sex to be done.
What if he starts getting offended? Why do you think?
That's where the problem now begins.
Why is you trying to tell
You're trying to be expressive and then now you see there's now a change of
reactions?
reactions.
There are now frustrations.
No, I was just sharing so that if you also say you're not comfortable with how I'm saying I want sex, maybe if there is room for me to try and adjust and restrict some of the things or some of the acts, it's okay, I'll also try. But also you on your end also try tisangane phakathi and find our own neutral, unique way of how to do the sex and whatnot.
It's okay, I understand. Clemens, how do you reach out to your wife if the sex is becoming bad? How are you supposed to reach out to your wife?
Maybe the common one is to express yourself. You say what you want. But when you say what you want now,
let's say you're actually not putting the effort that is required. Here we are not talking about energy. The real energy that is desired, the muscular energy of a man, the energy that a man must put to make the friction work, the energy that a man must put to make the wife reach an absolute level of climax. What is it that must be done? I never promised you that the counseling is going to be easy. What must you do? We're not talking about energy. Because sometimes it's not just the romance, but the energy.
maybe I should also go to the gym and become muscular.
It doesn't have anything to do with the gym.
It's not about
It's
being
not a gym.
muscular.
It's not a gym.
It's not a
Maybe
gym.
It's not for the
exercise. Maybe I should exercise.
No, it has nothing to do with your physical body. I'm saying
Maybe I should exercise.
I'm talking about the sexual muscle here. I'm not talking about the physical muscle of lifting up heavy things. Of course, maybe you might need the physical muscle of lifting up your wife. Of course. Here I'm talking about the sexual muscle of lasting. Are you understanding what I'm saying?
Yes.
Lasting in bed. Not producing before your wife reaches climax. That's the muscle I'm talking about. Being able, do you know that?
I think it has to do with, when it comes to that, it has to do with the mind.
Yes. Are you able to control your mind?
Control your mind.
Are you able to control your mind?
You can only control your mind if you are getting a positive energy from the other side.
Can I ask you a question? Are you telling me that if there is no positive energy from the other side, you are not able to control your mind during sex and tell yourself that this sex is not going to end at this particular time? Are you not able to control?
Somehow.
It means your emotions, they rule over your mind to the level that your mind cannot control your emotions during sex. So you are in danger that in most of your sexual encounters, your wife would not have reached the climax and you have finished. Are you not able to control the sexual encounter and say, I will only release when my wife has reached the climax?
That would be...
Are you able to have that mastery emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually, and say, I will not release in this sex until my wife has reached climax. Are you able?
That would be the idea.
That would be the
That would
idea.
be a goal. And
Are you able to master that?
I can't. Because
Well,
for, me
you
to
know,
master,
no.
for me to master that, and I think it goes back to the issue.
But this is your mind.
You
You can explain it in English. You want others
right.
to hear.
Yes, I will explain.
Yes.
I want to find the proper way of saying it.
I want to know what you want to say. You can say it. You want to say that there should be a good foundation of communication again. That's what you want to say.
Not just.
Not just that. What is it you want to say? Because on this one, you cannot put it on your wife.
No, I am not putting it on.
Yes, because on this one, you are the one who's supposed to control the frequency of how long you want sex to last. Do you know that men they control how long sex goes?
The thing is, Reverend, when I think I remember talking to my angel about a certain issue.
Yes, quiet.
I don't know if she mentioned to you.
Quiet, say it.
That something has happened in the past. Like for example, I do something wrong to my wife, and whatever that is, and I've wronged her, and I've asked for forgiveness, and I'm forgiven. But there's that bad experience here that I made go through, and there's an effort that I'm expected to put.
How long does it take? How long does it take for someone to heal in that?
No, not to heal.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm saying there's effort, and you would have forgiven the person, and it happened, but there's an effort that my wife should expect from me, since I'm the one who wronged, so that I can make her let go. She would have forgiven me, but forgetting should have therefore not.
Just to help you, just get straight to the point. Stop beating about
But,
the bush.
can I-
Just say my wife, not say it relating to
Right,
me.
let me put it this way. I want to help you. Do you know that there are people that are sleeping with the prostitutes right now, whom they don't have feelings for?
Yes.
So how do these men have an election?
How do you have election?
Without having any, you don't know this person. Probably even in the face is not good looking. You know, this woman is not beautiful, but I want to sleep with this one. How do they do it, those men?
Because for me,
For you it's different. You cannot have feelings for. You want to say for you it's different. You cannot have feelings for a woman that you don't like.
even if I have, but I can't.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question which is out of order? If we bring a naked woman right here and the three of us are not in here, she comes in here, all doors are locked. For the next 7 days, none of you is going out. You won't feel anything.
I might feel, but I might not do anything.
What will you feel?
Feel like sleeping with me.
You feel like sleeping with her. What more your wife that you chose? Even if she has wronged you, are you
But
telling me you won't feel
sleeping with
anything?
that, it doesn't mean that you will satisfy.
Eh?
Because you might sleep with that naked.
Yes, but I get to where I'm going.
But you might satisfy, and in the sense that there is no negativity in terms of the emotions and the mind, the psychological part.
But this is not your wife, right?
Yes.
You don't share anything.
Yeah, but in terms of psychological, whereby there's nothing wrong that she has done to you, and there's nothing wrong that she has done. More like you haven't cheated on her, she hasn't cheated.
Let me give you an
She's not
example.
cheating.
I know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I want to clear that. Do you know that? I'll give an example that is realistic. 2 days ago, today is what? Today is Tuesday. 2 days ago, my wife wronged me. And do you know what? Last night we had sex. I had forgotten. Let me tell you, my wife never apologized. But last night I had sex with
But
her.
the wrong that you are talking of, Reverend, it doesn't involve cheating. We are talking of
cheating.
Yes, we're talking of cheating, and
Right.
you get the point.
How long do you think it should take?
No, I'm not saying you haven't forgiven the person.
Yes, you'll take forgiven. I understand you.
But I'm
You
saying
forgive.
there's an effort that I need
But
to put, which is beyond.
You have forgiven, but you're broken. You are saying you're broken inside.
Yes, I'm broken
Because
inside.
how long does a
Because
man
I
get
feel
broken?
there's less effort that makes me
So-
forget.
So
So
no,
here
no,
you're
wait,
saying
Forget
I
of-
should put more effort because of the things that happened in the past,
In
just
terms
to cover
of-
up for the messes that happened.
Clemens, look at me. How long? No, wait. I don't want us to divert from the really actual topic that we have been allowed by the Holy Spirit. I closed that chapter long back. Well, listen to me. I was there. Remember, I was the man that came into your life. We don't want to go back to that chapter. And I know that you forgave your wife and you love your wife.
I think I think when I spoke to May last time, she understood where I was coming from.
But that was last time.
This I thought long was recently. And
I'm
I'm
not-
saying you're forgiving someone. And
Because if I buy your
truly-
story, we are not going anywhere.
Yes,
If I buy your story,
yes.
it means you need another year.
So
We
now
don't know
you
how long
are-
you need.
if the other party is not putting more effort so that other party can forget what happened and you understand, you feel like you get that low self-esteem. Koti, will I even meet?
Alright, can I ask you?
Those
Alright,
standards.
let's get straight to the
You
point
understand?
and you not use examples.
So
After
like,
those
even those
after
standards-
those experiences that happened
So
deep
by
in the
having
past.
those thoughts and to say will I even meet those standards and
Which
already
standards? That is
low
if there is
self-
something
Wait,
that happened.
wait. Can I ask you? What happened in the past happened in the past. It was unfair for you. I was there for you. I comforted you. You received the deliverance, both of you. You and your wife, you forgave each other.
Yes.
We closed that chapter. Now you are saying, surprisingly today, what I didn't expect. This is the power of the counseling. It searches deep. Now I'm getting things which I thought it had ended. What I thought now was a communication breakdown era. What I now thought was an issue to do with the low sexual performance. I didn't know that the past that is now buried and completely forgiven and forgotten still has some leaking wounds.
yes it does.
Yes, it does. Thank you for opening up something that you have never bothered to tell me all this long.
And I don't enjoy it.
Thank you very much for opening up. This is the purpose of a counseling. All this time, I thought I have defeated those demons which were haunting Clemens way back after those closed chapters. That's what I thought. Thank you. It means the power of counseling is indeed working in the room. Now, it means I have to go back again on those issues that happened deep in the past. But the good thing is that you have forgiven your wife.
Yes.
And that is not questionable. I've seen it. You have forgiven your wife. But how are those things that happened in the past still coming inside your mind when you're forgiven? Because I believe that when you forgive, you must forget about it.
That's why I was talking about of effort.
Why do you need effort to make someone? It's like you
Like,
want compensation.
Like,
What compensation do you need?
Not compensation. Like whereby she has to be active.
Let me tell you something.
So that when can I finish? She has to be active and like communication one and because even myself from Budara, let me be honest, she knows I was not an expressive person. To the extent that when we were going through whatever we went through and no one knew from my family etc until you came via revelation. That was it was more like a breakthrough for me. Actually it was a breakthrough for me because that's when I remember at some point during those days there was a day that I had to hit walls out of anger. So you realize that when you came, that wound and it was so deep.
It is no longer deep as it was.
It was no longer. I'm healing. I'm not completely.
That is the area
Yes,
that I want to ask you. How
I-
long does it take for you to heal? Well, just give me your estimation. I'm not trying to put boundaries for you or trying to push you. I'm just asking, how long do you think it takes for you to heal? Because the marriage is happening right now, and we are behind time. How long does it take for you to heal?
For it, maybe for me, like I was saying,
Because I tried-
in terms of action,
Yeah.
right? Like my wife is not seductive.
Let me tell you something.
She's not seductive.
Let me tell you something about my marriage.
Yeah.
I said 2 days ago, and you refused and said it's not a good enough example because my wife had not cheated. I said 2 days ago, my wife frustrated me. Yes, the Revelator. After having frustrated me, I only needed one night to heal. It was a Monday night after Sunday service, because this thing happened service. You all watched it.
Yes.
After Monday night, this very night Tuesday, my wife never did any action. Not in anything seductive, but I'm the one who woke up midnight and I woke up my wife and I said, let's have sex. Is that possible, Clemens?
Yes, it's possible.
Why don't you do the same thing? I know. Did I say my wife?
Maybe
I never said your wife is
yes,
perfect.
I understand.
And
yes,
neither did I say my wife is perfect.
Maybe it's because I'm always the one who's always pushing for sex.
Yes, I'm the one who also pushed for sex.
No, you maybe once, but for me, on my side, I'm the one.
How do you know?
I'm the one who's
How do you know? Maybe I also push for sex every day. How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? Well, let's ask my wife. Who always pushes for sex in marriage?
Because I have lack of communication.
Yes. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
And when you push for it,
I'm not saying it's normal. A wife should play a role.
The response that you get, how convincing is it? And how, when you are pushing for the sex...
Are you saying your wife denies you sex sometimes?
No, not in that way. And when you're pushing for the sex, how much effort do you... There's an effort that you put when you want...
Yes, I know it's frustrating sometimes.
What kind of effort? Maybe if we may ask, what kind of effort you want? Should I come and...
Nicole, let him speak.
If you put... There's an effort that you put, which is like understandable. There's an effort
whereby you are forcing, like you feel like you're forcing.
Yeah.
Yes. Right, Nicole, are there moments that you...
So you realize even the next day, and even if she wants, even if I notice, already you have already lost that confidence and like, and maybe even if she responds late and even if you do a long sex drive and then her response comes a bit late. Understand? And for me, like for example, like if it's the first round, I usually know that my first round is actually poor. I know that myself. And it's very rare.
Now we're talking about sexual performance.
And it's very few times when I even ask myself, where did I get energy in my first round? And then now, when you go to the second hand, even whereby she also has to say, maybe like my husband started, if you want now the second one, maybe you'll be expecting him maybe to come also and initiate.
So Clemens,
like when you spend the time at home,
your whole storyline is going back to the same thing that you want your wife to be active.
I want my wife to be
active. You want your wife, you stretch yourself, but out of it. Yes. You want your wife to be active. You want your wife to be flexible.
Yes.
Yes, every man desires that. I did not despise you in that. Yes. I did not deny that. But I'm asking you a question. Are you telling me that your sexual performance is hindered by your wife that is less flexible?
Yes.
Are you telling me that if your wife becomes active, what if you fail to perform? Are you not going to get embarrassed in your bedroom? What if your wife today starts being active and you don't rise to your expectations? What other excuse are you going to come up with? I'm trying to save you.
Yes, I need to learn.
You need to learn. What will you use? Which excuse are you going to use, Clemens, if your wife starts being active today?
That will be the reality on the ground.
That you are a bad performer. So you can't, but for now you don't agree. But for now you can't agree because your wife, you have an excuse.
I can agree on that. I'm a bad performer.
No, I'm not saying you're a bad performer. You're not getting my point again. I'm saying right now, you cannot be judged that you're a bad performer. Why? Because you're saying your wife is a part to play. Right?
Some might believe I'm a bad performer.
No, you're not a bad performer. No one is a bad performer. No, you are not a bad performer.
That's what I've told myself.
No, you don't want the dialogue to go like that. You're not a bad performer. But I'm listening to you. Also myself, I always tell my wife, she's here, she knows. How many times have I said, I want you to show interest that you want sex?
So many
and I say it boldly, the way I'm saying it right now. She's my wife. I'm not shy to tell my wife that I want sex. And if the performance is bad, I tell her I didn't
How
like
does she
this.
respond?
She will show that she has been touched. She will show it that even if I'm disappointed by the sex, she will show that she's trying to make things right. She has a way of showing it. That next time I'll try to improve. Even if she doesn't improve, I will keep on pushing. But that doesn't give me an excuse of being a bad performer. Because I'm the one that is in need of sex. Even if she's not in need of sex, even if she didn't ask for it, but she will know that this man really needed sex today. But you are saying, I think my bad performance has something to do with my wife. Because my wife is not doing what is supposed to be done for me to perform. That's what you're saying.
No, for me, what I'll be
Then,
I feel like it won't be much. For example,
that's why I gave you an example that, let's say you meet a woman.
what I'm expecting from men is, I don't think it to be much. For example, like I was saying, if you come from work and maybe let's go to bath together, you know those small things.
Right, Nico,
What
what have you done for your husband? Your husband seems to, it's not an obsession.
I love bathing with
No,
my wife.
right? Your husband
The
loves
thing is,
romantic life.
he does exactly. He doesn't understand. You have to what you were saying, the example that you're giving to. You already in your marriage setup, you'll be knowing when it comes to this, my wife is active.
When it comes to this,
my wife is active. Even when it comes to romance, you'll be knowing my wife is good at the romancing, or my wife is good at kissing, like what you're saying. And one has to be. So him is now trying to say, Lawe, be like me, be romantic like me.
Which area are you good at, Nicole, from your own, without needing the Revelator or your husband or my wife to chip in? Which area do you think?
No, you wouldn't know, Rev.
Huh?
You wouldn't know. I don't know because of
this thing that your husband is talking about. Let's pass together. Let's like what does my wife do? Let me tell you what my wife does. So many times my wife can take an earbud and she'll be removing dirt inside my ear, or she'll be cutting my nails. I can do all that on my own. She does that so many times. Do you know that it is romantic? Do you know that? Clemens?
Yes, I know.
Do you know that is romantic? I'm not talking about Delilah cutting Samson's locks. I'm not talking about Delilah with a plan to cut Samson's locks. I'm talking about
what you're saying. Do you know what I understand what you're saying right now? It's because that's what I do on your body.
Oh, that's what you do.
But yeah, doing that.
So it's so unfair of you to expect me also to. You know that's my weakness.
I can give you
I'm not strong in that.
I can give you another example.
No, that's what.
I can give you another example. I can be lying on the bed or just sitting down. I can just call and say, baby, come here. And but already you don't you feel some resistance and resistance.
Well, what will you be calling her for? Wait. What will you be calling her for?
She can just, baby, come here. She just comes. Maybe I just want to kiss her. But
let's not go further to kissing. Let's say some other activities like what I gave. Activities in line like my wife calls me.
If I say kissing, you're not just doing of romancing. And just come and stand here, I hold you by your waist, I kiss you. But
right, before we go to that stage, I said basic things which are not romance. Like I said, my wife can say, put your head on my lap. I want to remove dirt inside your ears with an earbud. Then some things like that. And in that area, what is it that you do with your wife?
For me.
Or what does your wife do? It's not just
for me, my wife doesn't do anything. For me, my wife doesn't do anything. That's the only
Well, what do you do? You said your wife doesn't do anything. What do you do? What do you do?
I can start rubbing her back. You know?
Just playing with it.
Just playing with it. You know, I can just when she's sitting on the couch, I can just sleep and put my head on her, on her lap. You know,
so the difficulty that your wife only has here is responding back to you when you want to be romantic.
Yeah, something like that.
Right, number one.
So I was saying, it's not those things that it's not a lot of things. They're just small
things.
those small things, you know.
Yeah.
Those small things that
Yeah.
when I like going back into the past, and that's when you start having those, you know, like those bad memories coming back. You understand? Not because you want them to come back, but you be like, where am I lacking these little? Because they are little things, but they've got a huge positive
Nicole, what are the
impact
small things?
in the bond.
I want to see if Nicole appreciates. Wait. Because if Nicole is appreciating, what are the small things? I've already confessed what my wife does. Because I'm a
I'll
truthful
try
person.
doing that also.
No, wait, don't cut me.
Yes,
I confessed. What did I confess that my wife does, Nicole?
cutting your nails, cleaning your ears.
She just calls me. Sometimes we'll be seated on the floor, not here on the sofa. We'll be seated on the carpet. And she does that. Right? What is it that Clemens does? In fact, what is it that you do, Nicole? What is it that you do? This has got nothing to do with sex. What is it that you do?
None, Ref.
Why? Does it mean you have nothing to do on the Clemens spot? No, I'm not saying be like Russia.
Yes,
but what is your own code? Something that you do. I heard your husband saying sometimes I could be just a rubbing epic. What is it that you do? You can't do that, right? This is what I'm good at. Me. Maybe I'm like you. I'm not good at expressing like romance. No, I'm not good at that. But me, when I want sex, I tell my wife I want sex. Are you able to express that I want sex, Clemens? Nicole? I don't answer on your behalf.
No.
So Nicole, you're saying you can't ask for sex. It means you don't feel horny. Is that what you're telling me?
I do, Rev. I think not to try saying I'm putting it as a cover up or as a thing.
You feel horny. If you're feeling horny, why can't you?
No, I think the other thing that
I don't want to hear about lack of communication because these people, they are not mute.
Yes, Rev, but
why can't you ask for sex?
I think also maybe the other thing it's the setup maybe that's there in the house.
What is the setup?
Not that I'm trying to
kids.
Yes.
You are now blaming the kids.
No, not that I'm blaming kids, Rev. That's what I
You're the
was
one
saying.
You chose to have 3 kids.
Yes, we chose to have 3 kids, Rev.
So I don't want the
Can
issue of
I
kids.
answer that?
I don't answer on your behalf.
We have got kids, and
But you have a mate.
not
just a mate.
Not just a mate. You can create that moment, my age. You get what I'm saying? If you want something, trust me. If you want something, you can create that moment. That the time we were driving in the car, and she was shocked when I was telling her, you want sex. And what did she do? She went nothing.
Don't beat about the bush. When you got home, why didn't anything happen?
She was like, how did you know?
How did you know? But then what did you do when you knew? What did you do?
What did I do? You know, the fact you're also expecting her
to make the move.
Yes, she now knows. She now knows that my husband knows that the husband has seen, has realized that I want sex. And you mean to say my husband can take note of certain things? Somehow I have got a few things that I know about my wife which are key and sensitive. And what is a very, sensitive matter?
Listen to me so that we don't stretch it long in this counseling session. So that we have all that I'm saying is that, let's say the Revelator cannot be good in all things. Maybe he's not good in issues to do with the romance, but the Revelator is good in lasting long, number one. The Revelator is good in actually opening up that I want sex in this house. But the question would be, what then is the Revelator's wife good at? That's where I'm going. The Revelator is able to say I want sex, to make a move, to prove to the wife that I want sex. Not its movements that you cannot tell. Is this person saying wanting sex or what? No, we don't want assumptions. We want clear things. We don't want assumptions as if you are proposing. You're not proposing. We don't want assumptions.
And when the Revelator says that he wants sex, what does the wife do about it?
She has to show interest.
You see now.
That is where your challenge is.
So that's another challenge.
She doesn't show that she has interest.
She
is it true, Nico?
Yes, dear.
Why?
I don't know.
So
Did you hear that answer? Those that are watching, that is where my deliverance is going to start now. That is where I'm going to do deliverance. Do you know why? Because that is the answer I was waiting for. Nicole said, I don't know. When a person says, I don't know, all that she's simply trying to say is beyond, there is something that is now beyond me. Because when a person says, I don't know, even if Clemens tries to force to say no, she's being ignorant. No, she has got the answer. Yes, you can say something.
So that's why I'm saying, there are certain thoughts that start now coming into your mind, not because you want to think or you want to go back in the past and everything. Because you're like, are you forgiving me?
But why is it like this?
But why is it like this?
Why is she not giving me feedback with her body?
So it becomes frustrating, and when you get frustrated,
you end up thinking that she's lusting for someone else.
You get angry, and when you
do you end up thinking that she's lusting for someone else?
At some point, like what you call Mishona, like even
Nicole, can I ask you a question?
It becomes even more excessive.
Nicole, can I ask you a question?
Was there's a level of
why this will be happening?
Husband.
Okay, why this will be happening? Don't use emotions, Clemens.
Yes, I understand.
You're using too much emotions. Now I have to cool you down behind the camera. Alright, listen to me. Nicole.
Yes, sir.
I'm not trying to expose you or what. This deliverance, we did not create this dialogue just to push time. We want results. Why is all this will be happening in your marriage? Do you have moments where you then start having lust? Just having the lust. But this lust that you'll be feeling that, and I now have lust, but it is not for my husband.
Lately, no. At first, yes, I used to.
When this was happening?
Yes.
Right. What we are going to be doing right now, those that are watching, I'm now going to be asking my wife to go behind the camera. I think we have exhausted the different dimensions I've seen. People can never be equally yoked. People can never be equally yoked when it comes to issues to do with sex. We all have different kinds of weaknesses. Others, they are not good at romance, but you realize that your other party is good at romance. Others cannot open up, but at least another party should open up. So what I'm now doing right now is that I'm now going to conduct deliverance. But as I'll be conducting deliverance, those that are watching right now, you have to look for this deliverance session. Look for it, because it's going to be separated from this teaching counseling session. You look for this deliverance session. All this that we are doing, we're doing it in the name of Jesus. We are not some talk show of just winding up time. We are doing deliverance, and we are ministering unto marriages. We've used our marriages to preach out unto others. And I believe that we're not doing this to expose Nicole, to expose Clemens, to expose the Revelator, to expose Rachel. You that feels like we're exposing someone is because it's either you're not married and you don't understand anything about marriage. You that feels like we're exposing is because you're still cheating. You are not yet truthful. They are here. They've actually left their jobs. They have companies that they have left. They did not come here to play. They came here to look for answers, and they allowed the camera to be rolling for the sake of you that has been watching to learn. So, child of God, I'm here to say, from me, the Revelator, and my crew, Clemens, Nicole, and Rachel, that is now behind the camera. Until next time, have a blessed day.